a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. AC Milan. Associazione Calcio Milan, commonly referred to as AC Milan or simply Milan, is a professional football club in Milan, Italy, founded in 1899. The club has spent its entire history, with the exception of the 1980-81 and 1982-83 seasons, in the top flight of Italian football, known as Serie A since 1929-30. With 18 officially recognized UEFA and FIFA titles, they are the fourth most successful club in the world, along with Boca Juniors, and the most successful Italian club at international level. Milan has won a joint record 3 Intercontinental Cups and 1 FIFA Club World Cup, 7 European Cups/Champions League titles, the UEFA Super Cup a joint record 5 times, and the Cup Winners' Cup twice. With 18 league titles, Milan is the joint second most successful club in Serie A, along with local rivals Internazionale and behind Juventus. They have also won the Coppa Italia 5 times, and the Supercoppa Italiana 7. Milan's home games are played at San Siro, also known as the Stadio Giuseppe Meazza. The stadium, which is shared with city rivals Internazionale, is the largest in Italian football, with a total capacity of 80,018. Inter are considered their biggest rivals, and matches between the two teams are called Derby della Madonnina, which is one of the most followed derbies in football. The former owner of the club was former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi, who owned the club for 31 years. The club is one of the wealthiest in Italian and world football. It was a founding member of the now-defunct G14 group of Europe's leading football clubs as well as its replacement, the European Club Association. History. AC Milan was founded as Milan Football and Cricket Club in 1899 by English expatriates Alfred Edwards and Herbert Kilpin. Although the club itself claims the 16th of December of that year as its foundation date, historical evidence shows that the club was actually founded on the 13th of December. In honor of its English origins, the club has retained the English spelling of the city's name, as opposed to the Italian spelling Milano, which it was forced to bear under the fascist regime. Milan won its first Italian championship in 1901 and a further 2 in succession in 1906 and 1907. In 1908, Milan experienced a split caused by internal disagreements over the signing of foreign players, which led to the forming of another Milan-based team, FC Internazionale Milano. Following these events, Milan did not manage to win a single domestic title until 1950-51. The 1950s saw the club return to the top of Italian football, headed by the famous Green-Only Swedish trio Gunnar Gren, Gunnar Nordahl, and Nils Lid. This was one of the club's most successful periods domestically, with the Scudetto going to Milan in 1951, 1955, 1957, 1959 and 1962. In 1963, Milan won its first continental title by beating Benfica in the final of the European Cup. This success was repeated in 1969, with a 4-1 win over Ajax in the final, which was followed by the Intercontinental Cup title the same year. During this period Milan also won its first Coppa Italia, with victory over Padova in the 1967 final, and 2 European Cup Winners' Cups, in 1967-68 and 1972-73. Milan won a 10th league title in 1979. But after the retirement of Gianni Rivera in the same year, the team went into a period of decline. The club was involved in the 1980 Toto Nero scandal and as punishment was relegated to Serie B for the first time in its history. The scandal was centered around a betting syndicate paying players and officials to fix the outcome of matches. Milan achieved promotion back to Serie A at the first attempt, winning the 1980-81 Serie B title, but were again relegated a year later as the team ended its 1981-82 campaign in third-last place. In 1983, Milan won the Serie B title for the second time in 3 seasons to return to Serie A, where they achieved a 6th-place finish in 1983-84. On the 20th of February 1986, entrepreneur Silvio Berlusconi acquired the club and saved it from bankruptcy after investing vast amounts of money, appointing rising manager Arrigo Sacchi at the helm of the Rossonera and signing Dutch internationals Ruud Gullit, Marco van Basten, and Frank Rijkaard. The Dutch trio added an attacking impetus to the team, and complemented the club's Italian internationals Paolo Maldini, Franco Baresi, Alessandro Costacurta, and Roberto Donadoni. Under Sacchi, Milan won its first Scudetto in 9 years in the 1987-88 season. The following year, the club won its first European Cup in 2 decades, beating Romanian club Steaua Bucuresti 4-0 in the final. Milan retained their title with a 1-0 win over Benfica a year later and was the last team to win back-to-back European Cups until Real Madrid's win in 2017. The Milan team of 1989-90, nicknamed the Immortals in the Italian media, has been voted the best club side of all time in a global poll of experts conducted by World Soccer magazine. After Sacchi left Milan in 1991, he was replaced by the club's former player Fabio Capello, whose team won 3 consecutive Serie A titles between 1992 and 1994, a spell which included a 58-match unbeaten run in Serie A, and back-to-back UEFA Champions League final appearances in 1993, 1994 and 1995, a year after losing 1-0 to Marseille in the 1993 Champions League final. Capello's team reached its peak in one of Milan's most memorable matches of all time, the famous 4-0 win over Barcelona in the 1994 Champions League final. Capello's side went on to win the 1995-96 league title before he left to coach Real Madrid in 1996. In 1998-99, after a 2-year period of decline, Milan lifted its 16th championship in the club's centenary season. Milan's next period of success came under another former player, Carlo Ancelotti. After his appointment in November 2001, Ancelotti took Milan to the 2003 Champions League final, where they defeated Juventus on penalties to win the club's 6th European Cup. The team then won the Scudetto in 2003-04 before reaching the 2005 Champions League final, where they were beaten by Liverpool on penalties despite leading 3-0 at half-time. 2 years later, the two teams met again in the 2007 Champions League final, with Milan winning 2-1 to lift the title for a 7th time. The team then won its first FIFA Club World Cup in December 2007. In 2009, after becoming Milan's second longest-serving coach with 420 matches overseen, Ancelotti left the club to take over as head coach at Chelsea. During this period, the club was involved in the Calciopoli scandal, where 5 teams were accused of fixing matches by selecting favourable referees. A police inquiry excluded any involvement of Milan managers, but the Italian Football Federation unilaterally decided that it had sufficient evidence to charge Milan vice president Adriano Galliani. As a result, Milan was initially punished with a 15-point deduction and was banned from the 2006-07 UEFA Champions League. An appeal saw that penalty reduced to 8 points, which allowed the club to retain its Champions League participation. Following the aftermath of Calciopoli, local rivals Internazionale dominated Serie A, winning 4 Scudetti. However, with the help of a strong squad boasting players such as Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Robinho, and Alexandre Pato joining many of the veterans of the club's mid-decade European successes, Milan recaptured the Scudetto in the 2010-11 Serie A season, their first since the 2003-04 season, and 18th overall. However, after the Scudetto the club declined in performance. It saw the club fail to qualify to European competitions since 2014. Fininvest, the holding company of the club, also signed a preliminary agreement with BTA Corpol to sell 48% stake of the club for €480 million in 2015, after a net loss of €91.3 million in 2014 financial year and subsequent financial contribution from Fininvest. However, the deal collapsed. On 5 August 2016, a new preliminary agreement was signed with the Chinese investment management company Sino Europe Sports Investment Management Changxing Company Limited, which Fininvest sold 99.93% stake of Milan for about €520 million, plus the refurbishment of the club financial debt of €220 million. 0.07% stake of the club were retained by other shareholders. On 13 April 2017, the deal was completed, and Rossoneri Sport Investment Lux became the new direct parent company of the club. Colors and badge. Red and black are the colors which have represented the club throughout its entire history. They were chosen to represent the players' fiery ardor and the opponent's fear to challenge the team. Rossoneri, the team's widely used nickname, literally means the red and blacks, in Italian, in reference to the colors of the stripes on its jersey. Another nickname derived from the club's colors is the devil. An image of a red devil was used as Milan's logo at one point with a golden star for sport excellence located next to it. As is customary in Italian football, the star above the logo was awarded to the club after winning 10 league titles in 1979. For many years, Milan's badge was simply the flag of Milan, which was originally the flag of St. Ambrose. The modern badge used today represents the club colors and the flag of the Comune di Milano, with the acronym ACM at the top and the foundation year at the bottom. White shorts and black socks are usually worn as part of the home strip. Milan's away strip has always been completely white. It is considered by both the fans and the club to be a lucky strip in Champions League finals, due to the fact that Milan has won 6 finals out of 8 in an all-white strip, and only won 1 out of 3 in the home strip. The third strip, which is rarely used, changes yearly, being mostly black with red trimmings in recent seasons. Stadium. The team's stadium is the 80,018-seat San Siro, officially known as Stadio Giuseppe Meazza after the former player who represented both Milan and Internazionale. The more commonly used name, San Siro, is the name of the district where it is located. San Siro has been the home of Milan since 1926, when it was privately built by funding from Milan's president at the time. Construction was performed by 120 workers, and took 13.5 months to complete. The stadium was owned by the club until it was sold to the city council in 1935, and since 1947, it has been shared with the Internazionale when the other major Milanese club was accepted as joint tenant. The first game played at the stadium was on the 19th of September 1926, when Milan lost 6-3 in a friendly match against Internazionale. Milan played its first league game in San Siro on the 19th of September 1926, losing 1-2 to Sampdoria. From an initial capacity of 35,000 spectators, the stadium has undergone several major renovations, most recently in preparation for the 1990 FIFA World Cup when its capacity was set to 85,700, all covered with a polycarbonate roof. In the summer of 2008 its capacity has been reduced to 80,018, to meet the new standard set by UEFA, based on the English model for stadiums. San Siro is specifically designed for football matches, as opposed to many multi-purpose stadiums used in Serie A. It is therefore renowned in Italy for its fantastic atmosphere during matches, largely thanks to the closeness of the stands to the pitch. The frequent use of flares by supporters contributes to the atmosphere, but the practice has occasionally caused problems. On the 19th of December 2005, Milan Vice President and Executive Director Adriano Galliani announced that the club is seriously working towards a relocation. He said that Milan's new stadium will be largely based on the Veltins Arena, the home of Schalke 04 in Gelsenkirchen, and will follow the standards of football stadiums in the United States, Germany, and Spain. As opposed to many other stadiums in Italy, Milan's new stadium will likely be used for football only, having no athletics track. On the 11th of December 2014, Barbara Berlusconi announced a proposal to build a property stadium of 42,000 seats in Portello, behind the new HQ of the Rossoneri, and the large square, Piazza Gino Valley. The new village with shopping malls and hotel is located near City Life District and is served by the metro. On the 20th of September 2015, however, Silvio Berlusconi has called an end to his club's plans to build a new stadium in the city. In 2017, new CEO Marco Fazzone stated that the club may look at either staying in the San Siro or moving to a new stadium, with the club hierarchy emphasizing the need to increase average attendance for home games. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?